Hello and welcome to the final part. So we sort of ended off and in the main level again, where we finished the tutorial level and we're going to level 2. So instead of a lift, we actually have to jump down. So if we jump down, we spawn into a massive area, like a sort of dome almost, where we have all these levels which are titled 1, 2, 3 and 4. And the main objective is to get through this laser here to actually unlock this the lift. So now we can do this. We can press E on the button and we have our first main quest. So if we do look around, there is a bunch of lasers active, so we can't actually do anything like that. But what we can do is do what this is, and it's actually open, sort of introducing the player to that area, because you can't, if you look at a laser, that's just a bad player. But yeah, one of the other things is that there's a cell here, which indicates that we need to use a cell into this holder, which could potentially unlock what's above there, which we need to exit from a lift. So as simple design as we have already figured out, you just sort of put the block onto the pad and it sort of opens up a bridge, just like the button in the green area in the second part of the tutorial level. When we walk through this, there's a camera cut just showing you that it sort of the thing opens back up and there's lasers now in that area. So we now need to finish this area or fix it in order to complete. So if you're actually quick enough, this is actually moving. The conveyor belt is actually moving and it finishes here. If we look down here, it actually has a pad which needs charging. So that's the main objective, is to charge that and put it back. So this green pad can go onto this green pad over here, or just goes through the little way that it should be. So the first thing what we can do is press this, which will construct the bridge, and then go over here where this button is, and which is pointing at that laser. If we press that, that laser now deactivates. We go back over here and press E, and we can now go down here, just like this. So there's a couple of things that we need to do, is to close off this bridge so we can actually go through it again and get this to charge. Two things that we have here is the mains to the conveyor belt, and there's a teleporter. Push the block into the teleporter and move it like that, so it goes all the way over to go down here. One of the things actually, which one of the reasons that I did it like that, so when you put the teleporter, it shows the beams, and it made it so obvious that there's one block going to another block through teleporters, is because from the feedback that I got on my very early build in level 1, they said that they didn't really know where the beams were going, what it's for. So that's why I introduced the camera cuts, and that's why in level 2 I made it so obvious that it's going to point A to point B, that you know where it's going in such an open area. So now, because the area is now constructed, we can now pull this back onto the charging and wait for it for a little bit to charge up. And now we can continue, because the pad is now all sorted, just like that. But now, as there's a teleporter there, we can either go through there or put it back to be safe, or we can have a little gamble in this little teleporter, which will just take it straight back, which will make the conveyor belt, if we look above, back on the move, just like that. Later on in the levels, it makes it a lot more harder to use the conveyor belt, such as the movement will be different, so you have to change the movement, you have to activate the pads, and maybe one conveyor belt will be alright, but the other one will need power. And that's one of the end sort of game, the end level, before you continue. So now, since that pad is now there, it sort of opens up this, which will give you a clear understanding of how you need to do these levels in the future. And that's to actually just use this cell into this this radius here. So one of the issues that I actually had with this game, and I just want to make it out here, is so if I actually put that pad, well, that didn't work, but basically if I put the pad right there, right underneath it where the trigger radius is for that blueprint, it will not activate if you pick it up from it within that radius. If it's like over here, which it isn't in its radius, and you move it, that's when the blueprint starts working. So I had to try and make it so it doesn't really like overlap, and if it does, it's a bit of a pain, but I couldn't really do anything. I'm mainly focusing in the level design aspect than the actual blueprinting aspect of this level anyway. Now, as we know, the second level is now open, and we can now press this, just like this. And also, before we continue, I want to make sure, I want to keep these videos very quick, so after this level I'm going to make a fourth part just showing you the final two levels, but I'm going to try and go through it because I feel like I've explained the mechanics, the blueprints, and how the player sort of flows through the level through hard cuts and so on and so forth. But if there's things that I haven't mentioned, then I will mention it. Do this, press that, which will put on the lasers. And if I go through this block, through this teleporter, because you can't do anything else, it goes all the way down and makes a little sequence down here into this grey little room. And if we follow this line, it actually goes towards this door which opens up. Now you can do this in two different ways. You can either go around, such as, actually I'll do it now, so there's a little difference. So the way that I'm going right now, you could actually take the cube around and place it here, or you can actually just go through here like this, just like that, to unlock the lasers. And now when the box actually comes through, which is needed for this blue pad, you can just sort of push it through, or you can just do it the other way around, which I mentioned, by putting a block up there, going up there, go all the way over. So there's like two approaches to this level. So for the people who are fairly who don't really know what to do from the first sight, they'll probably go through that area because they probably don't know what to do, but it is an acceptable way. When you go up here and press this button, it actually does this little block. But if we wait here for a couple of seconds and it sort of moves down, you can see that there is a collectible over there. That's one of the things that you can do. And when the box falls down, give it a minute, just like that, we can now jump on this and we can actually go through the conveyor belt system to actually pick up the collectible if this was a full game, which is pretty cool. Just like that. So if we go all the way back and push the block into the blue pad, then we'll be golden. Just give it a moment. Yeah, this is another thing which is a bit annoying with this thing. Like it would just sort of bug out. I don't know why it does this. It should be fine in a sec. And do that. Yeah, I do apologize for this. Like the game is a bit broken in terms of that, and I can't really fix it because I'm not really focusing on the level design. But anyway, from what I was going to say is, after you put this here, this door now opens up, which is great because now we can actually have access to the other cell. So if we equip our telekinesis gun, shoot it all the way over there to the cell holder, we can now unlock this door into the next area. So if we shoot that, the lasers go, and we can now go over here, press E, and we can now go to level 3 as when the levels actually get a lot more harder. So yeah, this is the end of part 3. I'll go into the fourth part very quickly and sort of speed run through it, but I'll explain certain stuff as well and how I went by doing it. So yeah, see you in part 4.